5 calls queued up, so let's not waste a second. First up, darling, we got a fella on the second floor who got real tired of his upstairs neighbor turning his balcony into an ashtray. He did not complain to management. He collected evidence in a pasta sauce jar. I'm patching this one straight through to Hank.
Hank Hill speaking.
Hank, honey, I got a balcony dispute for you. Neighbor flicking cigarette butts downstairs, burn mark on the rug, and the most satisfying building inspection you ever heard of. It's all yours.
A balcony dispute. All right, I'm listening. So there's this fella, lives in one of those apartment stacks like a layered cake of folks living on top of each other, which is already not how God intended, and the fella directly above him keeps just flicking his cigarette butts right off his balcony and onto this man's patio below him. Now, I personally smoke Dale's cigarettes sometimes, and even Dale knows you don't just fling your butts onto a neighbor's property. They'll at least hide 'em in a conspiracy theory pamphlet first. That's basic Texas courtesy right there. So this fella goes up there real polite-like, knocks on the door, and tells the man his cigarettes are landing on his balcony and burning up his outdoor rug. And the upstairs neighbor, I want you to hear this, shrugged and said, maybe the wind blows 'em sometimes. Sweet Lord, maybe the wind. That ain't a wind issue, that's a character issue. Bobby once knocked a football into Con's yard and went straight over there and apologized face to face. He was 11 years old. This grown adult man cannot take responsibility for his own cigarette butts. That boy ain't right. So our fella, and I respect this, I truly do, he stops cleaning 'em up. Instead, he starts saving 'em in one of those old pasta sauce jars. Keeps photographing the damage, too. The burn mark on the rug, the ash on the floor, just quietly building his case like a sensible Texan, which this man clearly is in spirit even if he's not from Texas. I tell you what, that is the kind of methodical thinking I respect. Peggy once kept a log on Dale for 3 weeks when he kept blowing lawn clippings onto our driveway. Documentation is a love language in Arlen. Now here's where the Lord provides. The building management sends out a notice that they're doing balcony inspections that Friday on account of fire hazard complaints. This man does not clean a single thing. He leaves the ash, the rug, the burn mark, and he puts that jar of cigarette butts right on the patio table like a centerpiece at a dinner party. A jar of cigarette butts as a centerpiece? Now, I have been to some of Bill's cookouts where the presentation was questionable, but even Bill would not do that. That is a bold decorating choice, and it worked. The property manager comes by, sees the rug, sees the photos, sees that jar, apparently just stares at it for a good long second, then heads upstairs. About 15 minutes later, that upstairs neighbor's balcony door slams so hard it rattles the floor below. And by that evening, the man had one of those little metal ashtray canisters clipped right to his railing. He knew where the butts were supposed to go the whole time. Well, I'll be. Turns out a fine is a better teacher than a conversation with a grown adult, which is just sad, dadgummit. Now look, in Arlen, this situation never gets to a jar of cigarette butts on a patio table. You know why? Because when your neighbor comes to your door with a burn mark complaint, you say, yes, sir, I apologize, that won't happen again, and you mean it. That is the social contract, that is civilization. This upstairs fella had the ashtray clipped the whole time. He had the equipment, he just lacked the decency to use it until money was involved. That's the kind of thing that happens when people stop caring about their neighbors and start treating apartment living like it's every man for himself. Bobby knows better. Heck, even Con knows better, and Con is difficult. You live stacked on top of people, you owe 'em basic respect. Should have been common sense.